Good morning, snappers. Day 5 of chemotherapy is about to start. It's also my last day as an outpatient, so from now on I'll spend about a month and a half in hospital. Good morning, YouTube family. It is day 5. We're walking to the hospital, about to have obviously the 5th dose of my chemotherapy. It is also the last day I am allowed to be as an outpatient in the hospital on overnight leave. I'm currently just walking there, and today is the last day I'll be outside enjoying the light, and from now on I'll be stuck as an inpatient in the hospital for about a month or so until the blood counts recover until they show significant signs of recovery enough to let me out of the hospital. So currently feeling fine. I didn't do that much recording yesterday, as you'd expect. My chemotherapy protocol is exactly the same for 5 days, so it would get a bit boring if I filmed the same thing. However, it's going to be much different in the next couple of days. Today is the last day of the same thing. However, it's going to get much, I wouldn't say intense, but a bit more detailed. Throughout a bit of yesterday, I was experiencing a bit of nausea. They do ramp up the amount of nausea drugs you have during your chemotherapy, but just sometimes if I move my head too fast, I would have had a dizzy spell. But other than that, it was very easily manageable. I am just crossing some roads here, so I do have to be a bit careful. It's Sunday here in Melbourne, so it's not very busy for trams and buses and that sort of stuff. So I'm currently not feeling any staple side effects, which is expected. As of when I did my preliminary workup, they said that the first week was just going to be like normal health, end quote. However, this morning I did besides the very slight amount of nausea yesterday, I did wake up with a very dry mouth. This is probably the first time it's actually happened. However, it could be a indication of the degeneration of it, as that's one of the first thing that goes when it hits, I guess. So it's just a dry mouth, and I think throughout last night as well I was struggling to moisten the mouth as well. I think I can even notice it right now. But we are about 5 minutes away from my hospital room, and I will check in with you there. Day 5's chemo just went up. Same thing, busulfan, 256 milligrams. Despite a tiny bit of nausea, I'm feeling very, very good. So a big thank you to everyone who's liking and commenting my stuff on Facebook and Instagram. My Instagram's growing at nearly 100 people per day, and also my Facebook is getting shared quite a lot. Since social media is basically free marketing, it provides a really good avenue for me to promote awareness for things like blood donation and joining the bone marrow donor registry. And I just want to say thanks for all the lovely Snapchats I'm getting. My Snapchat's growing every day. I've got around over 600 people viewing my Snapchat stories. I don't post my stuff with the intention of gaining followers or likes my page. I post it so I can provide education to those who aren't aware of what happens during a cancer journey. A scare tactic like that is one of the only ways to motivate someone to get themselves checked out by a doctor, and statistically I can guarantee one of my Instagram followers has an undiagnosed cancer. However, the general public, including myself, sort of just brush off the disease, saying, no, that's not going to happen to me, but then it does happen, and then you have to start learning about it. And it's scary to think about how real it is, because I can post stuff on my social media which motivates people to go to the doctors to get themselves checked out, mainly out of fear. It's pretty apparent that although there's so many fundraisers and events for cancer, the general public generally don't know anything about it. And the reason I promote getting medical checkups so often is because the vast majority of cancers can be cured if they're caught in the early stages. Because people generally don't have the inclination to go to the doctor unless they actually feel sick or if someone says that they might be sick. And how did I originally find out I had cancer? In quite an early stage, it was through donating blood. Which is why my cancer bout in 2014 was so short, was because we caught it early and I was in remission by a very early stage. Because if I was to look into the camera right now and say you might have cancer, you wouldn't be in a position to say that you don't because you've never gone to the doctor to get yourself checked up. And to put that into perspective, imagine if I never donated blood, they would have found my cancer at a much later stage and I might not have been alive today. What I mean by that is, for someone like myself, I didn't know anything about cancer before I had it, which is why I post these sorts of things to educate you so that you don't have to go through what I am right now. A summary of what I'm trying to tell you is that the prevention is better than the cure, and since the cure is killing off my entire body right now, I recommend you take the prevention. Despite all of that I've just said, I'm sure some of you are still saying, no, I'm never going to get cancer. However, statistically, 50% of you are going to get cancer in your life. So why not take the proactive way of dealing with it, which is getting yourself checked out by a doctor regularly, rather than the reactive way, which is dealing with it when it happens to you. Throughout stages of 2014 and 2015, people were actually making jokes about me and about the sort of stuff I was posting on my social media pages, which is probably one of the worst things you can actually do in life. One being make fun of a cancer patient, and two being deter them from making posts about promoting cancer awareness. It's actually really nice to chat to the nurses as they're doing my chemo just about what's going on with me. I've only been here for like 5 to 7 days now, so I've had a new nurse every single day. So whenever they come into my room, I have to kind of point out the camera and tell them as to why I'm doing it, because for some people it can be a bit off-putting having a camera showing or even just being pointed at you. But I obviously always ask if they would prefer not to be filmed, and if they do, or if they would not prefer to be filmed, then obviously I don't film them, which about, I think 2 or 3 were a bit iffy if they wanted to be filmed or not. However, the one I just had just then, I was talking about the whole social media thing, why I do it, and how I think it helps people, and she was in agreement of what sort of stuff I was saying about how it's a kind of taboo subject, and having someone from the patient perspective giving you the inside perspective of what actually happens is something that she did, and also I believe is something that needs to happen a bit more often to provide much more awareness to what actually happens, because there's things out there, there's fundraisers out there to raise money for things, but no one actually knows what happens. And my channel and what's going on right now is, what I'm trying to do is show you what actually happens and be totally transparent as to what I'm experiencing. And what I'm experiencing right now is I feel fine. Like, I feel like a healthy person despite a tiny bit of nausea every now and then from these chemotherapy drugs, which is hooked up next to me here. And then tomorrow is when it actually gets a bit more full on. So from my understanding this morning, from when I had my talk with the professor, is that this stuff is a bit easier, and then tomorrow the drug I have, pharmaglobulin, is a bit more of a much more potent drug, which is why they are going to be flushing me with water via my drip constantly throughout the day to flush out the the drug from my kidneys and help protect my organs. So they're going to be doing that all day, throughout the day. I think it's 3 days I'm having this drug. And they're going to monitor my water output via my urine. So they're going to be measuring how much water they put in versus how much water I put out. Just to make sure that my kidneys are still functioning properly. And also they are going to put me on a steroid of some sort, which I will do another video on later on, because I know the whole issue of steroids and the whole topic of steroids around cancer patients is a bit askew. Many people think that it's mainly about muscle building steroids. However, you'll soon learn that that is incorrect, and I'll tell you what steroids I'm going to be on, if anything. But yes, you would have just seen my chemotherapy going up. It's day 5 of busulfan. It's getting cut off after today. And then tomorrow I start thymoglobulin for 3 days, and then more stuff to come after that. But it's very, very interesting stuff. It's 3:30 on day 5 of chemotherapy. The chemotherapy came down when I was on the bike doing a bit of exercise before, and I can easily say that the nausea I'm experiencing is getting worse, to the fact where I'm almost about to vomit. I've gone to the toilet, I would go to vomit in the toilet, not out in the open. So I've gone to the toilet to vomit, to attempt to vomit 3 times so far today. However, not actually having the act of vomiting occurring. So there's usually some spells of dizziness and nausea that come every couple of minutes, and it's usually when I'm on my phone, looking down at my phone, or something similar to that. So whenever a spell of dizziness comes over me, I just have to relax and deep breaths for a few minutes just to try and make sure I don't vomit. But it does come along quite suddenly, so if I am doing something, I do need to run to the toilet to make sure I don't vomit, and vomit in the appropriate area, such as a rubbish bin or the toilet itself. But yeah, the reason I'm saying this is because I want this whole thing to be completely transparent. Like, I'm not gonna exclude and tell you the fact that I don't feel like shit, because I don't feel like shit currently. There is definitely going to be periods where I do feel like shit, and we're probably easing into that process now. But currently, at the moment, I feel healthy. My cardiovascular health is fine. However, the only thing impacting me is the nausea every now and then, and sometimes a bit of pain coming from the stitch up here whenever I move my clavicle in an extreme way. Like if I have my hand above my head for a long time and move my arm down below, like if I go like this, like if I'm resting like this and then move my arm down to my side very fast, obviously my clavicle is moving, so it rubs into that stitch, which gets quite sore. Other than that, that was just a check-in to tell you what's happening, because I'm trying to keep everything as real time as it is, instead of having that recap at the end of the night. Spin it. Keep going.
That's nothing.
What's happened? You feel sick? Oh. All right, you've done that one. Now turn around. That's your next one right there. Take over.
James! Is that big? Oh, the shopping's worse. James, hang on, just let me get my... Wait.
Are you rolling? We're rolling, are we? Which way are you on?
I don't know.
This way.
James, if I say stop, you stop. That'll do! No. I mean in terms of fastness. Oh.
Yeah.
James. Oh, that'll do! Is it going?
Shit.
Oh.
Come on now.
It's just your anti-nausea medication, this one.
So that is day 5 finished. All of my busulfan's done now, and tomorrow we are heading on to some different stuff, and a few days later some pretty heavy stuff. So we're eased into it now, and I've had all these 5 days have been good except for minor nausea. Today I nearly vomited twice, but it didn't actually happen. It was just the feeling of nausea. And in preparation for the next couple of days of chemo, we have a new addition to the Hickman's line here, which is, so they used to finish, see where that first red one is, where my thumb is, used to finish there. On one of them now I have an extender which extends 1 out to the side and 3 out more to the front. And on the other side I have one that is just split into 2, which has a little divider thing just there, which can switch which side of the port pushes the liquid out. So all these things here, there's like 1, 2, 3. There's 6 entry points now for chemotherapy to go in, other drugs to go in, such as anti-nausea stuff, any blood transfusions I need. But these things here, they call them caps. There's probably some sort of medical name for them, but in here they call them caps. They get changed once a week. But this is what we're living with. My first night in hospital here in Melbourne, and I have to try and learn how to sleep with one of these things. We'll work it out. Anyway, everything else is going really well. My port site, hang on, I'm just going to switch the camera around. My port site's going really good. You can see there's nothing there besides a bit of yellow bruising, which you can barely even see. The stitch up here is good. This is like a little dressing, by the way. It's not like wrinkly skin. The dressing is going good. But if you want to see something a bit, I wouldn't say graphic, but a bit gnarly, is you can see this thing under my skin, and you can see where it used to be. When I let go of it, you'll see it go to the side. There you go. But yeah, it doesn't hurt anymore. It does hurt if I have my hand up like that for a long time and then drop my elbow again. But yeah, other than that, the first 5 days were good. No complaints besides the nausea, and I'm ready to smash through the next amount of drugs I'm going to be given, and I'm just thankful to be able to share it with you all, this journey, and just grateful to be able to provide my insights to you all on how it all works, and just share with you what actually happens in these sorts of things. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you.